Well, I've been studying government programs for like 50 years, and I got a MBA and a bachelor's in business, and I always like sort of economics and stuff like that. I've been helping people find government programs for the last 50 years, and what I started was helping rich people find government programs, and really, my clients were Fortune 500 clients, and I was saying, God, I was finding government programs to help millionaires become billionaires. And I said, God, they don't even need this money. Why is the government or we as a society giving so much money to rich people when there's people that really need this? Now, let me show you why I'm doing what I'm doing now and trying to help people who are not rich find about these programs. Look at this chart. Okay, you're going to see on the bottom the orange line that ends in 44%. Okay, that shows you that that's how much incomes grew for the bottom 90% of our country. So if you're working, and most people in the country do, 90% of them have seen their increase in their income of only 44%. And this is like 45 years. That's how much it grew. So if you were making so much in 1980, 90, or 2000, you're not making a hell of a lot more now than you were then, but prices have gone through the roof. Okay, now look at that pink line above that. That pink line above that says that US GDP. That stands for gross national products. That's where my economics classes come in. Okay, that says all the money that's created in our country. That it's that line. So that grew 190%. So in other words, all the money that's created in America grew over the last 45 years by 190%. But the bottom 90% of workers only got 44% of that. So they got a very small, like 20% of that, is it 25, something like that, of the growth. So where's all that other growth going? See the big spread between the 190 and 44? Well, here's where it's going. One, you want to see the top 1% of people. Okay, see, they grew 240%. So 90% of the people in this country, their incomes grew 44% for 90% of the people. And the top 1% of people grew 240%. So that's almost 4 or 5 times what 90% of it. They're getting so much more. But wait a minute, that doesn't account for the big wide gap between the gross national product and the 90 percenters. And that's the green line on times. That's corporations. Okay, so profits of companies. And that goes to most of those profits go to the richest people anyway. So corporate profits grew 430%. People's wages grew 40%. Now, don't most people work for companies? So companies are making a shitload of money and the workers are getting none of it, right? So they got only 10% of the profits. So who got the rest? The owner class, right? So the worker, that's the one percenters, I would guess. And that's it. So that's why if you're, 90% of the country cannot stay up with inflation. And now with Trump cutting out benefits and the tariffs going to cost you another $3,000-4,000 a year because of the increase of cost of living standards and all that. 90% of the country is screwed. I feel they're getting screwed. We're making enough money for everybody, but it's not going to 90% of the people. So it's sort of a little bit of rigged system, I would say. Now I don't know the details, a lot of this, but these are legitimate numbers, and you see that in the bottom of this where it's all done. Economic Policy Institute, World Inequality Database, and the Federal Reserve, and all the official data. And most of the official data is right, no matter what the White House says. They don't like what it is, so they say it's wrong. That's easy to do, particularly if you're king. You could do that. So that's why I'm really aiming at the 90% who can't live on this anymore. So that 90% has to know what the government has to offer you for free, okay? And then you have to start even getting your wages higher and the government programs to do that too. How do you find out about all those programs that will, number one, help you pay your bills, whether it's rent, or legal, or health care, or anything, fixing up your house, all those bills. There's plenty of government money out there, but it takes work to find them. Okay, and then there's work, there's free money for you to get a better education, that could be all paid for, and to training to get a higher paying job, or to money to start a business and become part of the business class and make a lot of profits, because you're not going to make it in wages. 90% of the wages people are not growing in their wages. So you have to probably get out of it. All those programs are available. I put together a free report, so you could start seeing in your, see, most of this is not from the government. Trump has very little to do with any of this stuff. Okay. It's local. That's where it is in your state, county, city government. Now, I got a report here you could download. It's called letsgo500.com. Letsgo500.com. I'm not even going to ask for your email. I'm not going to annoy you or anything like that. Well, I probably will annoy you. I love annoying people. And it's there for you, and it lists every state is listed there, and the top 500 programs for every state. 500 programs for every state is here. So you get that report, you go down and you find your state, and you download them. And when you find your state, there's the financial assistance programs. That's pay your bills and debt and things like that. Then there's the second program, every state, for business, starting a business, growing a business, helping your employees, all this kind of stuff, getting government contracts. Then there's education, training, and jobs. See, money to get trained to do this, money to help you get a better job, all this stuff. Training is so much free training money out there. They'll pay you up to $40,000 to get $100,000 a year. No degree. You don't need degrees as much anymore. And then healthcare, dental care, and even pet care is all for free in your state. But you have to find out where. That's what we do. And then local experts. That's what we do. The programs that are available, just experts tell you something, help you start a business, or help you figure out the system, help you fill out applications. All that stuff is for free. Real estate and housing, okay? Buy houses, fix up houses, become a real estate investor, all that just for your state. Then you go on the next state and you share it with your friends or whatever. This is your money, and the rich people know this. I mean, in this administration, there's more billionaires in town finding out more ways to get money than anybody else. When we have 90% of the people in our country can't afford to live, let alone buy a yacht or go to the moon or whatever the fuck these rich people do. It seems that the people, average people, if they want us to work for them, they got to share a little bit of that stuff and not take 90% of everything, right? So that's my thing. And what we do at Let's Go Help is help you unlimited to learn these programs. And we have 15,000 members. It's a community where we help each other find these programs and apply for what's available. And you learn from other people how they did it. Every day we have 4 or 5 hours of people that are just there to tell you how they did. You can ask them questions live and all this stuff. And it's only $20. But right now we have a sale. Good old marketing America. We have a sale. For $1, you get 5 days of our services for just $1. And then after 5 days, we charge you $20. So you can sign up for $1, and that's letsgodollar.com. And you get 5 days of unlimited help. You could just bleed us to death and be online for 5 hours a day for 5 days and get every drop of blood we got. I hope you do that. Letsgodollar.com. This is your money. This is your country. America loves you. You don't know that because you don't read about it. You just read about how it fucks up. And you read about my stuff fucking up too. You don't realize that I have a heart below that. So does America, and it wants to love you. To me, is helping people do what they want to do in life is how you show love. That's what America does. They show you so much love because they have so many programs to help you do what you want to do in life, not what they want you to do. Well, sometimes they sort of stretch it. So you want the sale? Letsgodollar.com. See you soon. I hope. Let me help you too, please.